Thank you, Terry. Any other closing comments or thoughts? There were some questions directed to you, which is partly why I want to be fair. Tumi?
Patriarchy is a system of oppression that actually says, as a woman, you are inferior to the man. There's so much we have to learn about concepts, right? Like intersectionality and so on. I cannot say that be fearful when you feel like the person is being a patriarch by not calling them out on being a patriarch, just because you want them to be comfortable. This is how sometimes many people, especially men, get away with it, because we don't call them out on it, because we don't want to make them uncomfortable. Didn't that come out on Saturday? That this was a bit embarrassing for number one? Yeah. This is why we have to call them out on that. So if in the same way that feminists, as a feminists were demonized, and feminists had to fight to reclaim, you know, the identity of being a feminist. Queer is the same thing today. We're fighting to reclaim, you know, our queerness. And nobody should feel uncomfortable because of their identity or being called out on that. I think that's all I can say about that. But I do think that there's so much education that goes beyond our formal education, what I maybe call political education, around concepts, around understanding life, about understanding context, understanding our immediate surroundings and the world. There's just so much to learn. And there's so much that is really available to know also. Thanks.
Lebo, I've never been a member of the ANC Women's League. I've never felt particularly attracted to it. So I'll just leave it at that. Maybe you should write to the president of the ANC Women's League and ask for an audience on the matter. Just to say with regards to the schools thing, I think the questions are absolutely right, Jackie, and I don't know what the young woman's name is. I do think that each one of us should go back to our schools. I started an alumni society around my high school on the Cape Flats, and it made a huge difference. If one measurement is the outcome of the matric results from 31% to now over 70% consistently. And it involves all kinds of things, not just financial mobilization, in fact, just being there. And that as people who have been there, just the networks we now have, you know, giving kids access to that. And I think that, Jackie, the thing is, people like you, were good on you for starting the Aurora Girls alumni. Because I think it's one place to start. Because one can do all kinds of things. Then another thing, just for Sydney, a very personal question. One of my things which I started to do last year, when I speak at events, I never charge people, and then I decided, no, I should actually. And one thing that I asked them to do is to, in fact, use the money. I want to give it for the use of sanitary towels. So I've been at it for about 2 years. So we do that quite regularly. I got my hairdresser in a salon to have a big box where you put that before the scheme started it. So every time a woman goes to have a hair done, just take a pack of sanitary towels with you and it works. So we can do it in all kinds of spaces. Just ask somebody to bring some sanitary towels. There's obviously logistics of how you get it, to where you get it, and all of that. Can't become a huge cost structure. Last year I started doing it for Mayor Ruth Mompati's schools that she was organizing to support. But somebody in Centurion finds it quite hard to have to now also find the money and the logistics and the trucks and people who are not going to steal it to get it to Kimberley. So maybe they must just do it in Centurion. So I think we must actually, each one of us can do something. And don't expect anybody else, because even when we think we have little to give, we actually have it's a lot more than the money. Often just one adult who takes an interest in a young child. And that's what we're doing with my high school. Not all of us are in the corporates. Some of us are artists. Some of us are still trade unionists. Some of us still work in NGOs. Some of us are very active in the civic and so on. And it is amazing what we've done. So don't just always look to somebody that you think is successful. Actually, the fact that you care enough makes you a success because you're socially aware enough to do it. So I want to say that alumni societies is a very important thing. With matric dresses, the Rivers, a very good friend of mine, Miriam Zwani, who runs the Rivers Foundation in her church, they do matric things. But again, you know, we say a lot of bad things about BEE, for example. Actually, I'm a great supporter of the BEE codes and the fact that they change all the time. Because if people do it properly, and if people use it properly, for example, one of the things they have to do, 10% of it is about who gets shares in your company. The other 90% is about learnerships. You have to actually do learnerships. You have to actually do all kinds of things. And if a school like Aurora that's functional, or any other school here who's functional, you go to a corporate and you say, I'm a teacher at the school, or I'm an alumnus of the school, talk to me. This is what we do, and we will not expect you to come and organize the careers day. We will do that, but we expect you to bring the resources for the career day. You go and you actually offer yourself to people as a functional unit. My company, the 2/3 we put back into communities, it's principally used to fix the public school system. So all of that, in fact, goes, not one school in the area, we work with the whole district. We will not fund a school if there isn't a functional school governing body. So we say to the parents, I've got a little bit of money. What are you doing here to sort out your kid? This nonsense that other people must save your child. No. Part of where I am today is because my parents fought with teachers who even thought of sleeping with me. And so I think that, yes, I think and I'm not the only person. As I said, we work with 12 schools in one area, we work with 26 schools in another area. It involves sanitary towels, it involves mentorships, it involves career placements, it involves vet jobs. It's actually quite comprehensive. And there are lots of people I know who are doing that, but we can't cover all the schools. And so I'm saying, those of you who go back to your schools, the BE codes actually compel people to do this, but people don't know this. And people like yourselves here with university, you know you've got access to computers, you've got access to information. Just actually understand that you have a huge amount of power, and that power is just information and knowledge and confidence. And help your school, start with your own school, start with the next school. So now my alumnus society is working with all the schools in our area. My sister's gone back, she's a principal on the Cape Flats in Q-Town. And we work with her. She's a primary school principal. So we've started a whole set of things. So there's lots of things that people are doing, and we need more. We can't get everyone here needs to do what we are doing.
Okay, I'm going to bring it to a close. Can we, first and foremost, please put our hands together for all of our panelists? I think they've been fantastic. And I really do mean this, don't say it to anyone who's come to our events before, we've had half the audience compared to our previous events with twice the insight. I wish we had more time to be able to take more from the floor. So can you also kindly give yourselves a round of applause? And then I want to thank Wady. Wady is the one who's conceived of this set of public discussions that we have here at the Apartheid Museum, part of expanding what the museum is about, so that it is a museum that also speaks to and facilitates debates around very crucial social, political, and other issues in our lives, rather than, and it does this well anyway, but rather than simply being a place where you can come and journey back into history. Can we please thank Wady and her team for what they put together? And then, Wady, I think we're probably ready to spill out and go have some snacks, but just so I don't have the last word.
Thank you to our panelists and to Eusebius. Thank you to all of you for coming today. We really appreciate it. Before we talk about snacks, there is the women's exhibition in the George Bezos Hall. Any of the staff members inside can show you how to get there. The museum will close at 6:30. Please have some snacks, visit the exhibition, and thank you very much for coming today. And I hope that you'll join us for our next slot.